Hey there, welcome back. Once again, it's time for the Golden Age of DC Comics 365, where I am fulfilling the intended purpose of this wonderful book. It's a page a day, 365 days, one page a year. And I thought it would be a great excuse to talk about comic books for a couple of minutes every day. So if you're tuning in, you love comic books, I love comic books. And these are the conversations I'm used to having at the comic book shop, and I miss. And so we're going to be going through the Golden Age of DC Comics. This is a really nice coffee table book that was given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. And it's been on every coffee table I've had ever since. I've read it. I've thumbed through it. Friends have picked it up. You know, I'm a huge comic book fan, and it's a great source of for conversation and history, not just of comic books, but also of the United States during wartime and of print publication and magazines. It inspires a lot of conversation. I like that. So thank you so much for tuning in, because we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and we'll turn the page and we'll figure out what and whom we're talking about. Remember, the Golden Age of comics the Golden Age of DC Comics run from 1938 to 1955. I pushed that back just a little bit to 1931 to include The Shadow and Dick Tracy in that. But specifically, the Golden Age of DC Comics starts at 1938 with Superman and Action Comics #1. And it ends in 1955. The Silver Age begins in 1956 and goes until about 1974. And that begins the Bronze Age. I'm a Bronze Age baby. And today is March the 7th. And we have art by George Papp from Adventure Comics, number 169, published in October of 1951. Here begins the scene in medias res. Let me get my fingers away from the narrative caption here. Just as I suspected, they're stealing rolls of tungsten. Let's stop them, Speedy. Hey, it's the Green Arrow. You like that voice? I feel like I really emoted and captured the thug who's about to get an arrow, probably in his shoulder or something, or maybe in the barrel of his gun, or maybe a punching boxing glove arrow hit him in the kisser or something. It's March 7th. Here's the blurb. Those pesky tungsten thieves are on a rampage again, but Green Arrow and his kid assistant Speedy are on the case. The Emerald Archer gimmick that he had... once again, sorry. The Emerald Archer's gimmick was that he had an endless variety of arrows, but hardly any of them were sharp. DC heroes generally didn't kill people, not even DC villains. And this is why there's a change at the end of the Silver Age, especially when Flash kills Reverse Flash. Instead, he would use gimmicks like the one in this story. In order to climb a wall made of glass bricks, Green Arrow makes steps by shooting arrows into it. Speedy fears that the glass will crack, but GA reassures him, I'm using arrows tipped with suction cups. They'll support our weight without injuring the wall. Of course, the cups wouldn't have held, and if they had, the shafts of the arrows would have broken. But what did that matter when the nation's light bulb supply was on the line? Oh, yes, but no, it was a super strength and super suction cups. These are superhero physics we're talking about. And the superhero devices, of course they can support your strength. That's why they're super. But Green Arrow and Speedy first appeared together in More Fun Comics number 73, cover dated November of 1941. So they were introduced together. It was took his cue from Robin Hood, and also The Green Archer. It was a novel based on the novel by Edgar Wallace. He retooled the concept into a superhero archer with obvious Batman influences. He used the arrow car, the arrow plane, the arrow cave. His alter ego was a wealthy playboy. There was an arrow signal. We'll see that one pretty soon as well to summon him. And he had a kid sidekick. And it's interesting because Green Arrow and Speedy are one of the few characters to make it into the Silver Age relatively unchanged. And so there is a Golden Age Green Arrow, but there really isn't a Golden Age Speedy. That Speedy stayed the same, along with Robin, and who met up with Kid Flash after 1956. I'll see when Kid Flash premiered. I don't think it was too far after. Yeah, his first appearance was in 1959 in Flash number 110. But the original Speedy, the original Robin, and Wonder Girl too, who was just the girl version of Wonder Woman, who became her own character, and Aqualad, who was a reappearing character in Aquaman. That character too didn't really suffer too much going into the Silver Age. You know, Aqualad first appeared in 1960, so he was never in the Golden Age. But Aquaman is a Golden Age character. They basically just changed the changed the color of his boots and gloves from yellow to orange. It was basically all they did for Aquaman in a way. But Speedy and Robin and Wonder Girl are with Kid Flash and Aqualad after the Silver Age began, and they became the Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans. But yeah, there is a Silver Age Green Arrow. There's a Golden Age Green Arrow. I know this because the Golden Age Green Arrow dies in Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I don't recall there being a Golden Age Speedy. Just saying, putting it out there. So basically, Green Arrow came over to the Justice League of America, and Green Arrow does not get his goatee, his trademark goatee that we think of as his trademark goatee. He didn't get that until 1969 with that famous Denny O'Neil, the Hard Traveling Heroes with Green Lantern. That's what that he started that design in Brave and the Bold number 85, September of 1969, and they remaking the character's attitude in Justice League of America number 75, cover dated November of 1969, having Oliver Queen lose his fortune and become an outspoken advocate of the underprivileged and the political left wing. This is true. Back then, they used to have a balanced kind of political thing. They understand that people were conservative and right wing, that people were also liberal and left wing. So you had a classic pairing of Green Lantern and Green Arrow. So you had a conservative point of view with Green Lantern being represented, and you had the liberal point of view, especially in the time of civil rights activism and real civil rights progress. You had Green Arrow representing the left, and we get a lot of one side of the aisle these days. I don't think there are any conservative voiced characters anymore, or I don't think they're allowed. Yeah, I mean that's not diversity. That does not represent everyone. Yeah, but that's that. So that was the little history we have on Green Arrow and Speedy. Yeah, I grew up loving the Teen Titans. There was a Teen Titans cartoon. There were these the Teen Titans, not that wasn't the Teen Titans Go, or Teen Titans that came upon the Cartoon Network. There was one that was made in the 60s that had really bad animation, but I loved it because there was a Superman show, a Batman show, an Aquaman show, an occasional Justice League show. That I think there was like one episode of Atom or one episode of Hawkman, and just like 2 episodes of Teen Titans. And it was like really, Kid Flash looked horrible. They inverted the colors of his costume, so it was like primary red and yellow leggings. It looked so bad, and like and because he looked almost identical to Speedy, and but yeah, so that's our golden age of DC Comics for today. I love to talk about comic books. I'm going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern to figure out or to find out who we're going to talk about and what we're going to talk about. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Give me a like and subscribe if you could. I make spiritual content. I'm an ordained minister, an amateur theologian. I'm also a professional chef. I share cooking hacks so you can have delicious, nutritious, and beautiful food that you can share at your home with your loved one. So yeah, tune in. I would love to earn your subscription. I make soup videos too. They get a lot of views. I'm really proud of that. And I'm really proud of this content that I put on YouTube. And thank you so much for tuning in. And you have a great day. And good luck. Namaste. Cheers.